things that we talk about a lot here at Nomad Capitalist are definitely citizenships and how to obtain them, where to look for them, what are the best citizenship options for you, and where to look to find more options and freedom. My name is Jelena. I've been working in Nomad Capitalist for 5 years, and I've been helping clients achieve their goals, find best places for their lifestyle needs, for their citizenship, and tax optimize their situation. When we're talking about citizenships, one of the most important things to note, there are different ways that you can get citizenship, and based on your situation, sometimes even your ancestry will depend on how easy or how difficult or how expensive or cheap it may be for you. When we're talking about the easiest ways to get citizenship, usually they are citizenship by descent. So that means that you had or have ancestors from another place, that they were born and raised or just sometimes born in another country, and that you have the right to obtain a passport through your ancestors. Sometimes those are your parents, sometimes those are your grandparents, sometimes those are your great-grandparents, as in many cases that would also be an option for you to get it through your great-grandparents depending on the country. Now, closely knit to CBD or citizenship by descent is citizenship by birth, which means that you were basically born in another country and then you moved somewhere else and got naturalized somewhere else. So for example, you were born in Mexico, but you went to the United States when you were a child, naturalized in the United States. That doesn't mean that you're not a Mexican citizen just because you don't have a Mexican passport. You can still claim your passport through your birth just based on the fact that you obviously were born in a certain country or that your parents were born in that country. So citizenship by birth and citizenship by descent can sometimes be very closely knit. Another way that sometimes people can get a fast-track citizenship is through marriage. So citizenship by marriage means basically that you are married to a citizen of a certain country, and based on that fact, you can either get a passport immediately or you can get it after a couple of years. And sometimes you are required to live in that country, sometimes you're not. So for example, if you have an Italian spouse, you can get an Italian passport in 3 years without living in Italy, which also is reduced by 50% if you have kids, meaning 1.5 years. And if you decide to live in Italy, it's even less time. So as you can see, being married to a particular citizen can also give you a fast path to citizenship. Next, we have citizenship by naturalization. This is the most common one. This basically means that you get a residence permit in a certain country, and then you go towards a passport by the virtue of living there, spending some time there, and waiting a couple of years. The number of years that you have to wait for naturalization usually depends on the country. It can go anywhere from 3 to 10 or 15 years to wait for naturalization. And in most cases, you would have to pass a language test, and you would have to pass a history test and some other tests that the government will ask you to do in order to qualify and become a naturalized citizen. Now, this is the most common one, but it also takes the longest. As I mentioned, it takes a couple of years to actually get it. It usually does require you to spend some time in a certain country, meaning 183 days or more. To actually live there and to prove that that's your closer connection in order to get that passport. Now, then next we have citizenship by investments, which is a very kind of hot topic nowadays, and it's very popular. The Caribbean countries, namely, are the main kind of focus of citizenship by investment programs. And then also have some others like Malta, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and similar. These programs basically give you citizenship in a very fast manner in exchange for donations or some investments or something similar. Usually in the Caribbean and in Malta, those are donations. While in Egypt, for example, and in Turkey, those are investments, usually in real estate or some other assets in the country. Basically, citizenship by investment means that you give something to the country and they give you a passport back. Now, lastly, another way to get a passport is citizenship by exception. Now, citizenship by exception basically is a law that exists in every country, and it usually entails that certain people can get a passport with presidential approval, proven that they have contributed to the economy of the country substantially, or the reputation of the country, or similar. So this is not something that's given. There's not a clear pathway to that. It just basically means that you have to, if you're interested in starting, let's say, a business, especially if it's an innovative business, like something to do with green energy or AI or software or similar, if you come to a certain country, start that business, employ a lot of people, you may become eligible for the citizenship by exception. So basically, citizenship by exception does exist in every country, and some countries are more kind of lenient towards it and kind of more accepting of foreigners through this route than some others. But the price points, the exact requirements are not prescribed. They're not available. There are some ballparks, for example, in some countries, like, for example, invest 3 million euros or invest 10 million euros or something like that. There are some kind of basic guidelines that can make you become more, let's say, desirable to give citizenship to. However, there are no clear guidelines. But there are countries that, as I said, it can be easier to qualify for this citizenship by exception. They're usually in the Balkan area. So Balkan countries, as every other country in the world, does have this rule and law that you can get citizenship by exception if you contribute to the country significantly. And since these are kind of countries that are still developing, there's a lot of potential to invest in that country. There's a lot of potential in terms of workforce, very competent workforce. So there are a lot of options that you can potentially get citizenship through this way, especially in the Balkan countries. Now, citizenship by exception may not be for everybody, especially for people who absolutely need a second passport right away. In that case, it would be better for you to get a citizenship by investment. But if you are not in a huge rush, maybe you already have a passport portfolio, you want to build it up, then you might consider some of these options, and especially if you want to start a business, if you're a business person, entrepreneur, you want to expand your business operation overseas, explore other markets, then this option, citizenship by exception, especially in the Balkan area, might be a good fit for you. However, do note that this is not something that's guaranteed, but it can be a very good addition to your existing passport portfolio or your first step to create a passport portfolio. Because usually citizenship by investment programs are kind of widely known. It's a passport that you pay a donation for and you get it. While these citizenship by exception programs, nobody would really know whether you got it through exception or naturalization, since official programs for citizenship by investment do not exist. You would actually be considered either as a naturalized citizen or citizen by exception. Which, if you're worried about reputation, if you're worried about people knowing that you, quote unquote, purchased a passport, then this option might be something to consider. Now, lastly, these passports are very good, especially in the Balkan area. They have visa-free access to a lot of countries. So they are pretty similar to, let's say, Caribbean passports in terms of visa-free travel. However, they have some countries on the list maybe that Caribbean countries do not have. So in many ways, it can be a better passport than citizenship by investment. If you're interested in learning more about our citizenship options and how we can help you, go to our website or subscribe to our channel and hear more about options that are available to you.